Okay, our next presenter is Royal Winds, Peter Gan. Welcome, Peter. I know you're in Australia and it's quite early in the morning. I hope the coffee is strong. And yeah, welcome to the stage. And yeah, everyone, Royal Winds trades under the symbol SKLL, trading on the CSE. Peter, the stage is all yours, and I'm looking forward to this presentation.
Afternoon, Neil. Thanks very much for that. Thanks very much, Bruce, as well, for the opportunity. And look, it's a pleasure being able to tell the Royal Wind story to everyone that's present. Yes, I can control it. That work?
Yeah, you bet. I can slide this slides, or you can on the left or right. You are live, so just jump right into
I'll
it, Peter.
control it. Yep. Look, very quickly, just our background. Royal Winds are a mobile online gaming company. We focus on pure skill gaming. What's pure skill gaming? Pure skill gaming is a sector of gaming that is reliant totally on your skill for the outcome. It's not random number generated outcomes. They're not predetermined outcomes. What's special about us are two things. One, we are the world's first licensed pure skill gaming platform to take and pay out real money. We focus on hyper casual games, which are easy to learn and hard to master. We aren't your typical startup in that we've been around for a while. We've got a substantial customer base, and we're expanding on our platforms. What the other unique thing about us is that, look, for all other games in particular, you have a high level watermark which you have to cross to proceed. What our algorithms do is that they work out what your skill level is and place you within a cohort. There's nothing worse than starting and playing a game and continually losing because there are so many people that are better than you that set that high level mark which you have to cross before you progress. That's not the case with us. Dr. Dan Sal at the Center for Gaming Innovation at the University of Las Vegas put it best. We've solved the static difficulty situation. We work out exactly where your skill level is within the cohort of players, the aggregate performance of all the players, and place you in there such that the challenge that you face in a game is tailored to your skill. So it gives you an opportunity to win. How we work out where people win and how they win is in the prize money. So if you are very good and you continually win, then your prize money is substantially higher than if you are not that good, but playing within a cohort of similarly skilled players, you have an opportunity to win. Your prize money is just a little bit less. We're blessed with a strong board, and as Neil mentioned, we're listed on the CSE under SKLL. Where we sit within the iGaming space, look, very simply, it's a large space, and to put it succinctly, compared to the two big sectors, PC, console, and mobile, we're in the mobile space. We're casual games, hyper casual games that are easy to learn, hard to master. And then we are cash. So we are licensed to take and pay out real money. We can actually publish games of chance as well. Our license allows us that, but our core gaming vertical is on pure skill gaming. Why did we pick that sector? Look, it's very, very straightforward. We follow the demographic. What we've noticed now is that the demographic that has the discretionary spending power lies with the millennials. The millennials have grown up on Xbox, PS4, Nintendo. They have that dexterity, that hand-eye coordination. They prefer games of skill over games of chance, and that's a observation that's borne across the entire casino industry. Games of chance are slowly tracking down, and we see people preferring games of skill. Time poor is an important thing for that demographic as well. Why? Because our games are suited for short stints. 15, 18 minutes is where we lie within the player attention space. So we aren't chasing somebody to sit down and play for 7 or 8 hours, first-person shooter games and NPCs within a game and try and get them to stay longer. No, we are happy with the 15 to 80 minute time slot. And our marketing approach and our strategy for customer retention is repeat visits rather than extended visits. And one of the things we've noticed is that very much the player base within the globally within the iGaming space for pure skill gaming is skewed towards females, and that's a demographic that's borne out within our customer base as well. Just to be clear, we're not a bookmaker's license, so we don't take bets on live sporting events, but we are licensed to publish and operate games of chance, and are available in about 147 countries, including Australia, US, and Canada. We had marvelous reception when we first launched. Must be 3 months ago now, just before we quoted on the CSE. Key metrics. I'm all for outcome-based performance in terms of running a company, any company. So we're looking at substantial customer growth rates, and expected in about 36 months time or 3 years, the growth rate slows because of the size of the customer base, but this is our tracking. Keeping monthly churn is important, so we'll bring it down to a reasonable industry average of between 15 and 20%. This is interesting in terms of revenue and customer numbers. Despite customer numbers increasing towards the end of the 3-year period, the revenue levels out purely because, look, when you get to that level of customers and active players, the return to player has to be altered such that they get a decent return on coming back to play multiple times. We're looking at becoming EBITDA positive in February 23, and we're tracking well on that front. Bearing in mind, we're just out of the gate. We're 3 months out of the gate and performing according to what we hoped for. The big difference now that we're listed and are capitalized is that our marketing efforts become very data-driven. We're not shy about that. It's never a case of going to market, fingers crossed, hoping for the best. Everything is tested, feedback got, and retargeted to suit what the playing public and the paying public is after. We are allowed to. It's often a exercise in writing copy so that we can consistently advertise on Google and social media, but we have that down to a pat. So significantly half of our budget is consistently focused to allocated towards marketing. Marketing metrics, again, we track very closely. Cost per install, better than we expected in the early days. Long-term lifetime value at 6 months, probably about $40. Decreasing average monthly return, again, due to the increasing return to player as the customer base gets larger and larger and retention becomes incredibly important. Some of our player stats. I won't bore you with those, but what we are pleased is that people are spending more time in a game, and some of the games become quite active. This is an important thing. If the audience at the moment has any experience in gaming and iGaming in particular, the single most important thing, and bar none, is getting your payment channels in place. And this is what we have strived to achieve over the last 3 to 6 months in being able to, one, appear on the App Store and Google Play, and be able to use Apple Pay and Google Pay as a payment channel for taking payment, and having a payment channel that processes and enables you to get your payout in a very streamlined manner. That is the single most important thing. What we are also quite pleased about is that through our recent acquisition in the US, we'll be able to add yet another layer of payment channel and checks and balances in place through Fiserv. So that's actually, it may only be a small line in there, but it was a big win for us. Just mentioned that our recent acquisition in the US, Antics is a small, very innovative game development studio out in Nevada. They have a relationship with, again, the University of Nevada. The Department of Innovative Gaming at UNLV is actually very cutting edge in terms of what they develop and the course that they have. So what we do have with Antics is a good relationship with that department as a pipeline of games, because moving forward, and I'll get to that in a sec, one of our key things is developing a pipeline of games and the diversification of that portfolio of games. So our games have been to date pure skill, hand-eye coordination type games. What Antics offers us is an entry and our first step into board games. And we're in our next release of our platform, we'll be moving into card games as well. Royal Rummy will come out. So the diversification and types of games are important to us. And Antics offers us that entry into board games. It offers us a beachhead onto the US market, which is a huge market. And allows us to expand in there using that vehicle. Moving forward, this I feel is the single most important thing that I'd like to speak to the audience about. There are several limbs to where we move forward from listing. And it's not a case of just relying on a set of games, hoping for the best, pushing your marketing out, seeing whether the numbers come out. It's a case of covering all the bases. So we have Cash Carnival, which is our pure skill cash prize platform, and it will be the mainstay. But what we also have is Arcade Corner, which is a non-cash platform that offers people the ability to win non-cash prizes. And Cash Royale, which is our peer-to-peer player versus player platform, where you can play tournaments on a leaderboard. So focusing on the platform and our core gaming vertical will be one of the key things we focus on. I mentioned the expansion of the portfolio of our games, and that's important to us as well. So diversification into card games, board games, developing a pipeline for other developers, because it's our platform which is licensed to take and pay out real money. And it's a valuable situation or a unique situation to be in that we can approach other game studios and development houses to say, look, we've got a skill game that backs into our algorithms, our skill balancer, our return to player, and why don't you come on the platform? It's a revenue sharing partnership or profit sharing partnership, which works to our benefit in that it allows us a pipeline and a diversification of games. It works to their benefit in being able to monetize what they have. The other limb of the strategy from a geographical expansion perspective is very much the case of moving into key markets like the US, the UK. We're already in many markets. The Southeast Asia is a key block for us, and Canada is another key block for us. So between the US, Canada, Southeast Asia, rest of world, we're in there. Last but not least is diversification. Look, we do have our core gaming vertical, which is pure skill gaming. We're moving into diversification of their games, but there is also a larger diversification perspective in terms of making sure we've got the bases covered. Blockchain games and NFTs, that's an emerging sector which is growing very quickly. And our ecosystem with our digital assets within our games lend themselves to being collectibles and non-fungible tokens very easily. We've always have an eye on the ball in terms of esports. We've got a good relationship with some of the team managers and the tournament organizers, so we'll be looking at that very closely. As I mentioned earlier, we are licensed to publish games of chance, so casino games, roulette, poker, we are licensed to do that, and that may well be something that we pull the trigger on in the not too distant future. And one of the things which I've left out is offering Cash Carnival and our platforms as a platform as a service. So we've had a couple of interested parties now that have been speaking to us about the potential of allowing us to manage the competition and wagering aspect of virtual games and other player versus player games, even on a leaderboard. So account management, return to player, skills balancer, again, coming back to our algorithms of being able to assess your skill or a player's skill within the aggregate pool of players, and place you within a cohort so that you play. It's almost being able to work out your handicap in a game and placing you within there. You can play against other players who have their handicap altered, so it's a level playing field. But those are the key unique propositions that we have, the key unique IP that we have within our value. Just a quick view on the capital structure. So all up, there's about 117 million on issue. I won't go into the details, but it speaks for itself. And thank you very much. I may have sped through that, Neil. So
no, that's wonderful, Peter. Wow, the opportunity is awesome, and I can add that I absolutely am horrible at games, online games, every kind of type of game that's connected to technology. So there's one question from Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. We actually addressed that, and yeah, the app tracking transparency, which you mentioned there. Yes, it does, and players do have the option to not disclose, but we are working with people like AppFlyer to work around how we continue to track and monitor this data. And for all intents and purposes, that screenshot that I had in an earlier slide, that's our Optimove. We use Optimove as our player tracking software that has worked excellently. The players may well not decide to disclose the IFTA, but look, we're quite comfortable in terms of being able to maintain the depth of our player tracking and data.
Okay, great, Peter. We're looking forward to the development and you know, golf games. I love golf games. Well, yeah, no, fantastic presentation. And we had a question if this is going to be recorded. All presentations are recorded and available on demand minutes after we end this event. And then we also edit the videos and post them to YouTube for everyone to have a look. And I'm sure we're going to have an update from Peter and Royal Winds early next year as well. And Peter, thank you for joining us. And we're going to switch over to Bruce now. And yeah, thank you for getting up early in Australia.
No, thanks very much, Neil. Thanks very much, Bruce, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Peter.